first country I visited was Uganda to see the work of Harvard student Chris Higgins at an orphanage there. The day I arrived, the children performed a welcome dance for me, singing, playing music, and dancing. The song had my name in it, and I just assumed they used the same song every time someone new visited and just substituted a different name. But later, when our photographer arrived, they sang for him too, and all the songs were different. Chris, the Harvard student, later told me that the children come up with new original songs for each visitor. Here are some scenes from life at the orphanage: playing basketball and eating dinner. It's a Christian orphanage, so there's a prayer service each night, and the children don't eat dinner until afterwards, so by the time they were eating it was dark out. But eating dinner late after the sun went down was part of Ugandan culture. Bicycle taxis were a common mode of transportation. As someone who hadn't really traveled in the developing world before, I was surprised by this, but I got a quick introduction. The day I arrived, when Chris came to pick me up, we took bicycle taxis from the Kenya border back to the orphanage, one for him, one for me, and one for my suitcases. Everywhere I went, I saw people hauling enormous loads on the back of a regular old bicycle. Here are a few shots from Uganda and one from Tanzania. The roads in Uganda were dusty, but the landscape was breathtaking, mountainous, and just gorgeous. The landscape in northern Tanzania is quite different, as you can see. One thing that was really endearing here was the donkey parking. People coming to the village market would attach their donkeys to a rock and then leave them while they went to shop. The landscape changes again in Kabira, a neighborhood in Nairobi that is believed to be Africa's largest slum. No one knows for sure because of the uncertainty about how many people actually live in Kabira. We wrote about Elizabeth Nowak, a Harvard student who was testing a planter that allows people to grow food in very small spaces. You see one of the planters here at a primary school in Kabira. Here was the bathroom at the school, with a student who wandered in to see what was going on at his school during vacation week. And here's the view of everything just outside the school gate. Buildings as far as the eye can see. There was a lot of resourcefulness evident in Kabira, with stores built from scraps or items for sale on the curb. Here one of the wider streets, and another one with shoes for sale. In general, in the countries I visited on this trip, formalities were important. A reporter wouldn't go into a hospital without meeting with the hospital director at the beginning of the visit. And everywhere you go, you're asked to sign the obligatory guest book. Here we see Harvard Provost Stephen Hyman signing one during a 2009 visit to Uganda to learn about a Harvard professor's research project there. And here's Harvard student Catherine Sengoba signing the book at a school where she had just taught a lesson about HIV prevention. For Harvard students who spent the summer in Tanzania raising awareness about HIV, lunch was sometimes chipsi mayai, a local dish like an omelet with potatoes served with a Tabasco-like hot sauce. But more commonly, they would eat a simple flatbread called chapati, sold wrapped in newspaper and washed down with soda from a glass bottle. Meanwhile, back in Uganda, we commonly saw children walking to school with a stalk of sugarcane in hand, sent with them by a parent as their lunch for the day. These children were at a home where a theater troupe was rehearsing an educational skit about HIV. A Harvard student was involved in advising the troupe. The woman of the house served visitors hot, sweet tea, and the children got to drink the leftovers. President Obama was an acclaimed figure in all three countries. This is a clinic in the mountains of eastern Uganda. Most streets in this area didn't have names, but this one did. Here a poster inside the clinic. This was the owner of a gift shop in northern Tanzania. Notice his shirt. And this was for sale in his store. This was just over a month after Michael Jackson died.